If I could get you to track one number in your business, what do you think I would choose? Which one would I tell you to do? Pause the video and write down in the comments the one that you think I'd tell you to choose. And then at the end, you can see if you're right. Welcome back to A Clarity in a Cup with Jackie. So, you don't have to know all the numbers, right? You just need to know the right ones. That's my clarity truth this week. Not all of them, just the right ones. And actually, a lot of the numbers your accountant will be able to help you with, your bookkeeper will be able to help you with. But the one that you need to track, that you need to track, is the numbers that make up your cash flow forecast. You need to know whether you've got enough money to pay the things that you need to pay. Now, I've done a video on cash flow forecast, so I'm not going to go into all of that now. But what I'm trying to do is take away the overwhelm that so many people feel when it comes to having their financial day, when it comes to knowing what to track. Because people are always like, well, what should I track? I should be tracking my budget. I should be tracking my profit and loss report. And for those of you who are even more advanced, I need to be looking at my balance sheet, especially if I want to get investment or sell my business or stuff like that. But actually, my one that I'm saying to you is your cash flow forecast. Why? That's the one that causes most people a lot of stress, right? So if you think that you need to track everything, then you might not even start, because you're going to get overwhelmed thinking, oh, I need to know this, I need to know that, and I need to know that. And that just creates a lot of overwhelm, and it's not necessary, right? What's necessary is that you get good at one thing. Get good, really good at one thing, because actually once you've mastered that, then everything else can flow afterwards. If, for example, let's take, for example, a client who has an accountant and their business is growing right now, and they're feeling a lot of overwhelm because even though it's growing, they haven't really got a financial plan in place and they don't know what the future is going to look like. You have that anxiety going on where it's good now, but in 3 months' time it could be really bad. Those of you who run a business understand what I'm saying, right? However, to reduce the overwhelm, what's going to help you is the cash flow, your everyday money that's coming in and out of your business, and how you're managing that and how you're looking into the future with that. And that actually can be combined with your budget, right? Because you can have a budget you can be looking at your cash flow for the next quarter and have a budget for the quarter after that. And then you're just managing how well it's doing and if you have to make any different decisions. That is the one that I would choose first of all. And the number that you're looking at, if we even break it down, because that's the report, but if we break it down to one actual number, it's going to be that number at the bottom of your cash flow forecast that says closing balance. That's the number. Now, if you haven't done the bits before, okay, then you won't know what your closing balance is, because that's the one that tells you whether you have enough money at the end of a period to pay everything that you need to pay within that period. That is what's going to reduce your stress and your overwhelm. Now, absolutely, there are equally important things that you need to be looking at, like your profit and loss report. But actually, looking at your profit and loss report is not going to tell you whether you can pay that bill that needs to be paid in a week's time, right? It's not going to help you with that. So that's why I choose something practical. And actually, this is the one that I see most businesses don't look at. And then they wonder why they are stressed. They wonder why they have anxiety over their finances, because they're not looking at it. This is one that it's a no-brainer, right? I have a large obligation. I'm trying to think of something more powerful than that to say, but it's the one that I look at the most, and it's the one that's allowed me to pay myself every single month in business for the past how many years? 2013, and we're now in 2026, so for the past 13 years. It's the one number that has allowed me to be able to do that. My next point with this is, it's not all about, I use spreadsheets, right? But it's not always about the spreadsheets. It's about the system that you put in place. And that's why I always talk about simple systems to track the number that you need to track. Whatever works for you. So I use spreadsheets. I find them easy to use, and they're easy for me to change things around. They're easy for me to do what if scenarios. But there are also tools out there, there are apps out there that can help you do that. And there is the good old fashioned pen and paper. Only thing with pen and paper is you can make more mistakes and it's a bit more messy. However, I don't care, but that's the number that I want you to check, right? That's the number I want you to track, check, and know like the back of your hand. Because when you start a new month or a new quarter and you can see that the closing balance is brilliant for the next 3 months, you're not worrying about cash, you're not worrying about your cash flow. It means that your energies can focus on something else like building and growing the business, right? So that's why your cash flow forecast is fundamental, and that closing balance on that cash flow forecast is the number that I would tell you to track. So if you could track that number, or any number, or no, let me rephrase that question. What number actually causes you the most stress and the one that perhaps you avoid doing? Let me know in the comments, and I will see you on the next Clarity in a Cup with Jackie.